Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be going over one song, and then we're actually going to be working on a number of etudes. Those are basically like practice pieces or elements that have, or well, not entire songs, but pieces, parts, chunks that have relevant things to work on for an upcoming part or an upcoming song or an upcoming piece. Etudes are kind of like your schoolwork, whereas the songs are kind of like the enjoyable part. Everybody wants to be able to go play music. The etudes allow you to play more advanced music through working through some of the technical chunks and sections. So today we're going to go ahead and start with a fun bit. We will start with Maytime by Mozart. Looking at it, this is in 6/8. It is in the key of C. There's nothing. There's a couple of sharps, nothing really that far out of the ordinary. We start with a mezzo forte. We're mezzo forte through most of the song. There is a small crescendo from 11, or through 11, a decrescendo at the tail end of 12, and then we are back to regular mezzo forte for 13 to the end. We do have a diminuendo e retardando, sorry, in the second to last measure, meaning that we get quieter and we slow down. Other than that, we are, it's a fairly nice, straightforward song. In 6/8, it kind of has a flowing, lilting feel to it. It's a nice, simple piece. It sounds lovely. And if I could play it in tune, I will show you what it sounds like. So, yeah, let's go ahead and I will go ahead and play through it once, and then we will go from there and then start breaking it down and kind of taking it apart, and then we can move forward. So, it is written con moto above the pickup, which means with motion. It doesn't really have a metronome setting, so it's kind of whatever you feel accustomed to. But it should have a nice lilting feel to it. It should move nicely. So go ahead and start that. That cat. So I'll go ahead and start, and we will see what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So nice, easy, simple. It is a very pleasant, a very sweet song. So basically we've got 4 lines that are going to be very similar to one another. Let's go ahead and play it together. This one should be fairly easy to sight read. So go ahead and play it along with me, and we can take a little bit of a look at some of the technical parts as we get there. So go ahead and join with me. I'll go a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of the interesting things here is 1, 2, 3, measure 3. We have. So this is going to be kind of a hooked bowing, but also a good chance to use bow control to express separate notes onto the same bow. So the first 2 notes are tied together. If you do not exert any control over it, it's going to sound like 3/8 notes or a dotted quarter. There's going to be no timing to it. And then basically without any bow control is going to be exactly what it sounds like. However, it needs to sound so make sure that when you are playing, and definitely pay attention to bowings in here. Bowings are going to be very important. So you don't get mixed up on bows and down bows and up bows and that kind of fun stuff. But also, this really is outlined well to help you with the expression of the individual piece or individual lines within the piece. Pardon me. So let's go ahead and just play measure 3. Let's go ahead and play measure 3. Let's play it 2 times, and then we can play the entire thing together and move forward from there. So measure 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you see how there's only 2 different pitches, but there's 5 notes in there. Something to definitely pay attention to, because this will be coming up at least one more time. So play it one more time with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then let's go ahead and play the entire line together, and then we will move on into the second line without stopping. So we will be playing through the first part of measure 8 from the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, like I said, that particular element with that kind of hooked bowing is definitely going to be coming back up. So it's not going to be showing up anywhere else in the piece, but that is definitely something the bow control to work towards, because if you can control how notes are played on this end, is going to make articulating them with your left hand significantly easier. So let's go ahead and play that second line with pickup in measure 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, pickup in measure 4, and then 5 through the first part of 8. It's kind of a weird thing, because with that pickup, like, you have kind of an 8th note carried over from the measure before, and it kind of sets everything back. It's an interesting rhythmic choice, but it also lends a lot of interest and a lot of flow to it as well. So pickup in last note in measure 4, which is the pickup to measure 5, and then we will play through the first part of 8. So go ahead and join me on this one, and then we can play through this one a couple times. Since we have seen that hooked bowing figure before, we'll play through this twice and then move on. So pick up in measure 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, just make sure you're paying attention to the bowings, and you're working on enunciating is the wrong word, but it kind of fits here. Enunciating those individual notes within the bow. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then moving on, the next phrase, pick up to measure 9 through measure 12. Sounds like this. So keep in mind we do have that crescendo. There's not really anything rhythmically interesting or outstanding in this section, so let's go ahead and just play it from the pick up to measure 9, and then just make sure that you count. The dotted notes are half the value again, so a dotted quarter note in this setting is 3 beats, basically, since there's 6 eighth notes, and the 8th note gets the beat. So let's go ahead and do the pickup to 9 through the first part of measure 12. Go ahead and join me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and do that one more time, and then we can move on. Just make sure that you're not overdoing. You're not wanting to go from mezzo forte to like fortissimo, fortissimo, but you're definitely wanting to make sure that you turn the volume dial up. So pick up to measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of the other things that I'm very, very bad about is when I get louder, I get faster. Something to keep in mind and make sure that you do not follow in my footsteps. So let's go ahead and do that last phrase all the way to the end. Pick up to measure 13. We have a decrescendo, which is going to be a little bit harder to pull off on a pickup note, but you can in fact do it. So let's go ahead and try. That's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so go ahead and join me on this one. We'll go through this 2 times, and then we'll wrap up the entire song and then move on to the etudes. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play through this twice more with you along with me, and then we will wrap it all up. So, pick up to measure 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one more time. The dynamics with this one get kind of hard because we did have that crescendo and we actually wound up stopping in the middle of it. When you play the entire thing together, it makes the dynamic shift a lot easier. At this point, we're working on the nuts and bolts of the individual phrases, and then once you tie it all together, then you can work on the fine-tuning the minor points, the fine-tuning the presentation, so to speak. So go ahead and join me for the last time on the pick up to 13 to the end, and then we can tie it all together and work on it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and start at the beginning and then play through it. And why don't you go ahead and join me? So just keep in mind, we do start mezzo forte, so it's solid. We have a crescendo in 9, 10, 11, and then we have a decrescendo on the pickup to 13, so it doesn't last all that long. Then we do have a diminuendo et ritardando at the second to last measure. So go ahead and join me. We'll play through it twice just so we can kind of get a feel for it. The second time we'll play it a little bit faster so that we can move forward, we can get kind of that pulse to it. That these songs are wonderful to dance to with. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, nice, simple, easy. Again, when you are playing those hooked bowings, that figure that we worked on in the first 2 phrases, just make sure that you're using your bow to enunciate, and then yeah, let's go ahead and play it a little bit faster, just to get that nice feel, the little bit faster feel to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. got backwards on a bowing there. Which is why I play that entire phrase with a backwards bow. So again, bowings are very important, something to pay attention to. So let's go ahead and move on a little bit, and we will take a look at the etudes section for second position. Now, this talks about closed hands, which is up here, and then open hands, which is kind of like this. You'll see this is best played with a tuner. So that you can actually see where that needle is and if you are flat or if you are sharp. These really start opening horizons in that it allows you to play out of first position, which is what we've been working in. That's the end of the road for a C major scale in first position. You can keep going up, and there's etudes and songs and solos, and there's stuff written almost to the bridge on this instrument. Depending on your taste and vocabulary, it ranges from amazing to absolutely insane. So with this and with these etudes, it really does start helping you listen more closely to what your instrument is capable of, what your instrument is telling you as it's talking back to you, and as you're listening to it. And then it really does help you help dial in your internal tuning and your internal intervals so that you can start hearing when you are out of tune without having to directly use a tuner. So let's go ahead and we will look at the first section. It is just 2 measures. The only thing about it is it gets a little funky because you wind up putting your hand in positions that you've never really run in before. So pay attention to the fingers. We're not gonna be taking this with any sort of speed. We're not really paying attention to note durations. We are looking for tuning and hand position. So let's go ahead and play that first note. That is going to be a B. Let's play that second note, which is going to be a C sharp, with your third finger. Now play your fourth finger to figure out where your second finger needs to go. So, and again, basically just figure out first position. Where that fourth finger is where your second finger needs to go. And then that puts within your reach an E, which up till now is the highest note that we have worked through on this instrument. But with that E, we kind of have an open hand position. Then we go back to the second finger, which is going to be a D, which is normally a 4, but now we are playing 2. And then we're going to play a first finger, which is a C sharp. And then back to the second finger, which should be resonating with your open D. That is one of the things that I really enjoy about that, is you can use your, depending on where you are in the staff, obviously, you can use your notes above and below to really help with checking your tuning. So let's go ahead and do that one more time. So first note with a B, with first finger, C sharp with the third finger, third note, a D with a second finger, fourth finger on the E, back to the second finger on D, first finger on C sharp, last note, second finger on D, and then check your tuning with the string underneath. So you should be able to feel as you're playing that open, or as you're playing that D with your second finger, you should feel the instrument vibrating sympathetically with that open string, so that you can make sure that you're in tune. So let's go ahead and play the second 2-bar measure, or 2-bar phrase, sorry, brain. This one is going to be slightly different, and that we're going to be hitting an open position. With this one, it was 1, 3, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, which is relatively closed. This one is going to be 1, 2 on a C natural, 2 on the D, like we did before, 4 on the E, as we did before, 2 on the D, just like before, and then you're going to be reaching back to a C natural. So you're going to have a lot of space. You're going to have a full step between your first and second fingers, whereas normally, if you're playing like a B to a C, you only have a half step, so this will be twice the distance. So, go ahead and join me on starting the second bar. So, first note with a B. Second note with a C natural. Third note with a D. Check it with your next lowest string. Fourth note with an E, or fourth finger with an E. Second finger with a D. First shift, or first extended finger with a C natural. Have no fear checking open strings. And then second finger with a D. Okay. So that one is an open position, and you really do, it feels like you're reaching back, reaching way back with that first finger until you get a little bit used to it. And again, this hand flexibility is something that takes a long time, especially with the strength to come in. The ability to just switch how open or closed your hand is, depending on where, because it's something that definitely takes time. And building the endurance to play for hours at a time is also very important. So don't push too hard too fast. The other thing to keep in mind, which is significantly more advanced than they talk about here, is as you move up the fingerboard, the distances between notes changes. Up here, so that is a full octave. That is an absolute full octave. From the A string here, a full octave covers 3 strings. Something to keep in mind. And then a full octave is this string up to here. So from here to here is a full octave. From here to here is a full octave. And then from here to here is a full octave. So as things move up and as things get higher, the individual fingerings get very close together. Something to keep in mind. So an open hand position that might be large back here, when you get into a shifted position or thumb position or whatnot, is going to be significantly smaller and a lot easier to reach. So, like I said, significantly more advanced than they're talking about right here. We are not talking about shifted position. We're not talking about thumb position. Anything up in... No, not right now. But something that I wanted to bring to your attention, just so that you didn't think that... Or just so that you could see the difference between what up here is a full step, is significantly more than a full step. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the 3-measure bar, or 3-measure phrase, 3-measure bar. I don't know why I keep saying that tonight. And then we will go ahead and work through that individually. So first notes with the first finger is going to be a B. Then we're going to be shifting to a C natural with a first finger. So extended 2 for a D. Fourth finger for an E. Second finger to a D. Extended first finger back to a C natural. Second finger to a D. And then fourth finger to an E. So basically the same concept, just working different intervals. One of the things that you will notice is in the first 2-bar phrase, you shifted into fourth position, technically. In the second etude, you shifted into fourth position differently. And then in the last one, you're actually shifting with your first finger into second position. Yeah. Yep. Those shifts and being very comfortable in them is definitely one of the things that helps cement things more quickly as you move on with your skill in playing. That's something that took me a very long time to learn because I was trying to play everything in first position with either an extended pinky or an extended fourth finger and trying to get away with it because I just didn't know how to play shifted positions. The concept of moving from to blew my mind. Playing in second position, playing in fourth position, playing in those kind of things was just absolutely mind-boggling, and something that I didn't really get into until college, just because everything else that we were playing was very simple. And then even our small string ensemble and orchestra stuff wasn't really all that advanced. There was some stuff that you had to learn how to do particular things, but it wasn't something that I really keyed into until later in playing after a couple of years. So let's go ahead and end with the tonalization tonight. It's rather simple. Pay attention to the fingerings up on top, and then we can go from there. So it sounds like this. So go ahead and join me with this one, and then we will end for the night. As we play, we're going to be checking what we can against open strings. This one also shows that E that you can hit with your fourth finger in fourth position, I believe, is basically how you can play an open A string. Sorry. So fourth finger on the string below, and then second finger on where the fourth finger normally would go. In this case, it's a G. Then you play the fourth finger, which is going to be an A, is going to be the exact same note on the string above. Super handy thing. I didn't cobble onto that fact for a very long time. Anyway, something that might help you so that you can progress faster than I did, because I moved at a snail's pace for a very long time. So, go ahead and join me. We're not going to be paying attention to duration. We're literally just wanting to make sure that our intonation is good, and that everything is ringing in the instrument and it sounds good. So, we are going to go ahead and start with a C. Moving on to an E. Moving second finger onto the G. Check it with the string below. Lowered first finger. That is a C. Second finger on the D. Fourth finger on the E. Second finger on the D. Lowered first finger on the C. Second finger on the G. Fourth finger on the A. Second finger on the G. Shift back to first finger in first position on the E. And then fourth finger. So it wasn't nearly as much fun playing, but this definitely has some technical aspects that merit a lot of practice, just so that you can get comfortable in those shifts, figuring out where things are. Definitely make use of your tuner and have fun practicing. This isn't something that you normally try to play through as quickly as possible just to get it done. This is something that you have to take some time and sit down and listen to what the instrument is telling you, so that you can really start. Well, obviously you need to start in tune. Because if you're out of tune and it's saying, "Oh, great," your finger position and that mental map in your head is going to be kind of off, which is not the greatest. But definitely make sure you're in tune first, and then as you're playing through this kind of stuff, you have a lot of things that you can key into in terms of making sure that you're playing the right note. You have a tuner, you have the individual strings that'll tell you exactly if you're in tune or not. Keep in mind the tuner does generally tend a little bit sharp, just due to the style of tuning. I believe it's just tuning that most of this goes to, and that bias is towards, I think, the thirds and the sixths being a little bit sharper. But that's neither here nor there, getting way into the music theory. So just listen to your instrument, double check on your tuner, make sure that everything's nice and in tune, and that'll really help you develop a feel for the instrument and help you move forward. So thank you very much for joining me, and yeah, definitely have fun practicing. We're starting to get into the meat and potatoes of why I was wanting to do this, because this is starting to get into the stuff that I had no idea with, and nobody taught me or told me as I was learning to play this absolutely wonderful instrument. So again, thank you for joining me, and y'all take care and have fun practicing.